Hey, kia ora. Helen Brahms here, coming to you live from Tampa in Florida. Hope you're having a super fantastic sparkling day, or evening, early morning, whatever you want to call it. Welcome to Before the Dirt Nap podcast number 1289, A Day of Adventures. Um, I'm here in Tampa. Yesterday I was in Phoenix. Well, yes. Okay, so people are going to go, but you're filming this while you're. Okay, so here's the deal. It is still before midnight back home in Phoenix, and I go off Pacific time, which means I am well and truly still on yesterday, even though here in Tampa it is 1:19 in the morning on the 10th, which is the day that my niece is getting married. Yay! So yeah, it has been a wild, wild day. So I got all packed last night, well before midnight. Usually I'm up till after midnight packing and everything. Everything was packed. I had my list written out, and I just had a couple of things that I was going to be using the next morning before that I had to use the next morning before I crossed it off, which is just as well because because later the next morning I found out I had left one thing off my list, and I thought, oh, I better go put that in. So I snuck it into my bag, and got out of there. My carry-on bag only weighed like 25 pounds, and I thought, yes. But I got everything in there that I needed, and I figured if I don't, I can whip out in the morning and go get it, because the wedding, don't have to be at the wedding site till like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, which means I've probably got to leave here, I don't know, around 3-ish, in order to get there on time. But they want you in place by 4:15, I think it is, that they want us in place, so that the wedding ceremony can start on time. And I thought, yep, we can do that. And so I've got a day tomorrow, but then I've got a whole bunch of work stuff to do tomorrow as well. And I figured if I've forgotten it, I can go get it from somewhere. So had breakfast, started my day off fine, got everything done around the RV that I wanted to get done, and then I went and had a shower. Got out of the shower, got dressed, and left. Put my stuff in the car, put the trash in the car, and went by the dumpster, and then left for the airport. Now I had planned to leave at 10, and I think I left at like 10:15 is when I left home. But I made it to the parking garage at 11:03. And here's the really cool part. I pulled up to the offsite airport parking at 11:03. I already had the QR code and everything ready. And he says, go down the end there to that guy that's in the golf cart. So I went down there, kept going. He told me where to go to get to the covered parking. I parked. I took my stuff out of the car. I then went and stood with this other guy that was waiting for the shuttle as well. And and then the shuttle turned up a few minutes later, and we were on the shuttle on our way to the airport. By 11:37, I was through security. 34 minutes from when I arrived at the gate of the offsite parking the car, getting on the shuttle, getting over to the airport, getting checked in, checking my one bag that I was checking, through security. It was 34 minutes. I'm like, that never happens. Never. I have never seen that happen before. So as my phone was laying on top of my room key, that's not a good thing to do. And so I was really impressed. And so then I went for a walk around the airport. And first of all, I was going to find the gate. So I went down and found the gate. And then I've got to go find my bookstore so I can get my book to read. And this is just Helen's way of doing things. It's my, it's just how I am. It's just what it is. And Brad was like, yeah, whatever. He was just happy to go find the gate and have it and sit. I wanted to go explore the bookstores and stuff. But it was really weird because I haven't been in an airport since 2019, and that was when I was flying internationally from Auckland back to LA. So that was the last time I was in an airport, was July of 2019. There was a lot of change. Like, I got all the way down to where the gate was, and there was like no stalls there. They had like those little, they had no shops open. It was all boarded up and letting you know what was coming and everything else. And they just had these little kiosks there. And so I went to the kiosk. I said, is there anywhere in here that I can go and get a book? And she just said, oh, yeah, you got to go all the way back. She said, if you go, do you know where Pete's was? And Pete's is right when you come out of going through security. And I said, yeah. She said, go past there and take a right, and there's a place there called Connections. So I went up there and found Connections and all of that, and found a James Patterson book to read. If you want to see what it is, go look on my Facebook page, because I posted a picture of it earlier. And then so I got my book, had a wander around. And they had all this cool stuff. There was no pricing on anything. There was some pricing like on food things. I'm looking at like the food things. Like I have these bars that I like, and something made me put 3 of them in my bag this morning, and which is about the only food I've had. I only had one of those today so far. And I had a look at the price of these bars. Now these bars I usually get for around $2 a bar individually, and I get the box. A box of them is around $9 to $10, and you get 5 in the box. Or you can, I always wait for them to come on special when I get them. These things were going for $4.49 a bar. I'm like, are you kidding me? And like everywhere I turned, some of the food items had prices on them, some didn't. Some you didn't know until you got to the checkout what the price was. And there was even some stuff too, like travel pillows and blankets and all that. And I always like looking at those and seeing, oh, what price do they sell for? None of them, nobody anywhere, not even in Phoenix and Dallas, no pricing on anything. I'm like, what the hell? So I guess if you really want it, you'll take it up to the counter and go, yeah, no, I don't want to pay that. But I ended up getting this sandwich from the kiosk because I was hungry, and all the restaurants up in that area where the bookstore was, because I walked back down to, the thing was, for 1 bottle of water and 1 sandwich, it was $17. I kid you not. And the sandwich wasn't even that good. It was a turkey and cheese sandwich. That was a turkey and cheese sandwich and a bottle of water. And it was was it 1 liter? Might have been 750 ml, 3/4 of a liter bottle. It was $17 for 2 of them, for those two items for lunch. I thought, okay. I know there's price inflation and all that, but I thought this is a little ridiculous. But anyway, but I got my book, and thankfully books come with prices on the back, so you're paying what you pay in a bookstore. And so we get up to the counter there, and the guy's credit card reader went down. I'm like, oh, damn, I don't even have. I thought, do I have cash? I don't have enough cash to pay for that. I have cash for valets, like I have the $1 notes in it, but I don't have enough of those to buy the book. And so then he goes, oh, well, you can use self-checkout. And I'm like, so I went over to use self-checkout and got all checked out there. When we got to, and our flight left on time, they pushed back 1 minute late, but they got on time. Basically, it was on time. And they even turned around and said the plane holds 175 passengers, and we've only sold 134 tickets. So there's 31 empty seats. So the chance of you having a middle seat that's empty is good. So we had an empty middle. So I had an empty middle seat next to me, which was nice. And I got up next to the window, and I always look for the windows where the window is right by the seat, not split between the seat, because then I can kind of lean into that whole area where the window is as well. It gives me a little more space if I've got someone next to me. I made the mistake on the flight from Dallas Love Field to Tampa of sitting in a window where the pole between the 2 windows was in the middle, so my arm was leaning against that, and so I couldn't really give the guy next to me much room, but that was okay. And that was a full flight. But yes, we got to Dallas Love Field 10 minutes early, I think it was. I thought, great. And I thought, oh, go find some. The place was packed. There were so many people. We had 2 hours to our next flight. And I spent the first hour just walking the airport, everything behind security. And they had Chick-fil-A and Whataburger there, huge, massive lines for those. They had Chili's there. There was a line there for that. Every restaurant had a line. Waiting for people to get into the restaurants and things. I thought, this is ridiculous. And so I went back and had one of my bars. I ain't buying any more water. I got 1 bottle, and that did me the whole trip. I think it's got about this much left in the bottom. And then our flight got delayed 20 minutes because the plane coming in was coming in late, and the plane was arriving when we were supposed to be leaving. And in fact, they even had us lined up ready to board, and there were people still coming off the plane. Okay. And literally, when the last person walked out, they started boarding the plane. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is a fast turnaround. So got on there, and the funniest thing happened, was sitting there, and I always pay attention to the safety drills. I've heard them so many times, I could probably repeat them, but I always pay attention. And I've got my eyes on them, and whatever I've got, my hands is down and all of that sort of thing. But I always pay attention to what they're doing and listening. And so they got to the thing with the mask. It was so funny. The whole plane erupted on this one. They got to the thing with the mask, and so the woman's demonstrating been there and it drops down, and they said when you pull it towards you, the alcohol will start to flow. All the stewards, and then I turned and looked up at the one that was on the microphone up the front, and she went, I meant oxygen. Even though the bag will not inflate, the oxygen will flow. But the whole plane erupted in laughter in that one. The flight was good. I got the first flight I slept most of it. The second flight I dozed for probably about an hour, I think it was. But it was okay. And I should show you my thing. I got to show you my thing. Hang on. Got to show you my thing. Have to show you my thing. This was freaking amazing. I found this on Amazon, and I thought, oh, that looks really cool. So got this little pouchy thing, but I've actually got to turn it the other way around. I just did that to hold it up. But this is what it is. Let's see if I can. It's one of these things, and this piece here, when you get into your seat, you fold down your tray table, you slide this piece here onto your tray table. Then you put the tray table back up. And it's got pockets. So when the tray table's up, it looks like this. And you've got three. Hang on. I've got to take the book out. It's making. So on the front here, you have these three pockets. There's three pockets across the front. Then you have a big pocket. And I had my water and books sitting in the big pocket. In this one here, I had my my ginger, my On Guard, and my Breathe lozenges. In that one. And then this one here's a small one. The one in the middle here is a small one. Should tilt that. So the one in here is a smaller pocket. So in here I have my On Guard hand sanitizer and my Breathe stick. They're in there. But the cool part is I could pack this up before we boarded the plane. So when we boarded the plane, all I had to do was pull out my pouch. And then in this one, these are my bars. These were $4.49 in the stores in the thing. And I get a box of 5 of these for like $9 to $10. But these were my bars. And so I had 3 in there to start with. And then you've got this pocket here for that. But, and it sits like this on the back of your seat with the tray table over. So all I did when I finish up is I would just roll this up. So roll it up like this, and you've got the pocket there from the tray table, and I would just like that and drop it in the top of my backpack. And then when I got onto the next flight, I just pulled it out, threw it on my seat. I actually had it out before I got on the plane. I threw it on my seat, threw my jacket there, put the backpack up, and I had everything. I took my bottle of water out of my backpack, and I had everything on my seat that I needed. And then I just put it on the middle seat, got into the seat by the window, pulled the tray table down, undid this, slipped it on, and there were my pockets. And the cool thing is that you can actually get this. You don't have to have their logo on it. You can actually get your own logo put on it, which I thought was cool. So you can use these for people that, travel professionals. Take note. You could give your clients these with your logo on it, and you also get your logo down the bottom here too. So I'm going to be looking into that because I thought it would be a really cool thing to give to some of my. This is a good book too. Give to some of my clients when they're flying, and it was brilliant. And the thing is that when you fold the tray table down, is you've got your own tablecloth across the tray table, so you don't have to touch the tray table or whatever came before it. So that's my newest thing, my newest find. And I was like, yes, this is a good book. It's where am I? About a third of the way through, but it's shaping up for a really, really good book. And so then we get to Tampa. Hey, Josh is in Japan. Yay! Yeah, it's only because I just got into Tampa. So we got to Tampa 20 minutes late, and we meant to get in at 9:55, and we got in at 10:15. Sorry, 9:55, and got in at 10:15. So made my way down to baggage. That airport is, my gosh, trying to get around that airport. There were trains all over the place. I've never been to Tampa Airport before. So I had an adventure trying to figure out where I was supposed to go. And I finally got down to baggage claim, had to wait 5 minutes. My bag was one of the first ones to come out, and then followed the signs to go to. And we'd come from the third level at Tampa all the way down to baggage claim, which was on level 1. Then we got the bags off the carousel, and then went on another, and there's another escalator to get to the rental car. So I got onto that escalator to go to the rental car, and went all the way back up to the third floor again. Got up there, and I had Budget. Budget's line was packed. I have never seen lines like that at a car rental before. And so I'd been standing there about 10, 15 minutes when one of the guys comes over and he says, "Excuse me," he says, "anybody who has made a reservation while they are standing in line, we cannot honor it. We do not have the cars. We don't have any cars. And we only have cars for those that had the reservation before today." And so it took, let's see, it's now, what did I say it was? What did I say the time was? So it's now 1:34 in the morning here in Tampa. I got to the car place probably at 10:40. Yeah, it was 10:40. I was standing in that line for over an hour before I gave him my car. And then I got to my car, and then I had to get all the way over here to the hotel. I got here just before 1 o'clock, I think it was. By the time I got, it was horrendous. It was, and of course I kept looking at this watch, which is still on Phoenix time. But and I'm like thinking, I am so hungry, because all I'd had that day was that sandwich that didn't have a lot in it, and one of my RX bars. I'd had breakfast at home that morning, and that was it. I hadn't had any other food, and I was ravenous. And so I had got off the freeway to take the roads to get to the hotel, to access the hotel, and there was a McDonald's there, and I thought, that'll do. So they had one person working at McDonald's. When I got there, there was the doors to get in, and there was a car sitting in front of that. And I went around him to get through the drive-through, and she says, "I'll be with you in a moment." And I was waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. She finally says, "Oh, I've just got back inside. Now, what can I get you?" And so she took my order, and she said, "Well, come to the second window, please." And so I go, and lovely elderly lady, go to the second window there, and pay for it and all that. Turns out she was the only one working there. And and because as soon as I placed my order, she went and dropped the fries for the order, and then came back and got me to pay, but then asked me to go and wait around by the double doors where this other car had been sitting, and she'd bring my order out to me. And then another car turned up behind me, and she says, "Oh, one moment, I'll be right with you. One moment, please." And I'm like, oh my gosh, she's doing one customer at a time. If she gets flooded at the drive-thru, she's going to be so screwed. It's a Friday night. I think they closed, and I looked at and while I was waiting for my dinner to be, my late dinner to be brought out, but I still haven't eaten my burger. It's sitting over there by the door. By the time, I think she closes at 2 o'clock in the morning, and I thought, she's the only person there. So it has been a very long day. I woke up at 5 o'clock like I normally, 5 a.m. Pacific Mountain Time, like I normally do. So it was 5 a.m. It's now 25 to midnight, so it's 11:35 p.m. Pacific Mountain Time. So that's how long I've been up today, and a couple of nice little snoozes on the plane. But overall, it was a really good travel day. And there was this guy. Oh, it was so funny. There was this guy in the. It's very interesting watching people listen, watching people when you're standing in lines waiting for things, and the complaints. Oh my gosh, they were complaining, bitching about the budget, and they were going to use them again. This one guy says, "I went down to the express kiosk, and I said, look, here's my reservation, here's my license, nope, you got to go upstairs." And the reason that you had to go upstairs was because they only had one person down in the garage. And they were short-staffed in the garage, but they had about 4 people, and of course Budget and Navis worked together. And there were cars, the rental agreement things going backwards and forwards between the two of them. And I think it was the one person was radioing in for both Avis and Budget as to what cars they had. And I got down, and I just had like the little economy car. I was just sort of like, I'm just taking the cheapest of the cheap. It's just me. I don't have to go far, and it'll just get me to the wedding and back again, and that's it. And so I got the cheapest of the cheap. It's like $143 for the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I take it back on Sunday. So just for the 3 days. And no, Thursday, Friday, yeah, whatever. However long I've got it, it's $143, and I get down there and it was an SUV. They are the problem they were having is that people were going down and not taking the car they were assigned. They're taking another car or something like that. I don't know what the whole thing was, but there was this whole mess going on. And they said, if you have been making your reservation while you're in line, we do not have any cars for you. We only have those cars for people who booked them before they got on, who booked them before they started their travel. And so there's this one guy who comes in line behind me, and I'm in one, we're doing the zigzaggy thing, and I'm on one part of the zigzag, and he's across the rope on the other part. And he was talking about how he had been down at another rental car agency, and he had booked a car with them. They had and he had booked it. He said, I booked it 3 days ago, prepaid for it and everything. Got there, they had 0 cars. They couldn't even give him a rental car. They said, oh, go down to Budget. They've got cars down there. So he comes down, and while he's standing in line there, he's on Expedia, and he books a car with Budget. And I said, they ain't got any cars. He says, what do you mean they ain't got any cars? I said, they announced it that they don't have any cars. They only have those for those that booked prior to getting here. And he was like, really? And he says, but Expedia says they have cars. I says, yeah, that's why you don't use Expedia. I says, the number of times I have heard of people who have used Expedia, they get there, the hotel was sold out. They shouldn't have been booking them. They get to the car rental agency, there's no cars available. That was years ago. It may have improved since then. I don't know. I just don't use them. So yeah, it's been quite a day, and we finally got here and got up here, and I've done my video tour of the room. Then I just had problems getting online. It says, how do I connect the thing? She goes, go to espn.com. I said, and I said, espn.com. She says, yeah, as in the sports place. So I went to that, and it got me all hooked up with my Wi-Fi. So the things you'll learn along the way. So if you go to an Embassy Suites or a Hilton property and you need to get online and it's not letting you online, or like you've already clicked on the Wi-Fi that says H Honors and you can't get on, just go to espn.com and you'll be able to get it. And it brings up the screen for you to log in and put your last name in there and your room number or whatever it is that they ask for. I'm like, who would have thunk? Anyway, that's it from me for today. It has been quite the adventure today. And I'm looking forward to later today, since it is already, I don't know what time my computer is stuck on Mountain Time. So it's 1:41 in the morning. Breakfast starts at 6:30 to 9:30. It's all complimentary down in the atrium. And I thought, will I get up for that? Yeah, I'll get up for that. Free breakfast? Who am I to complain? So yeah, it's going to be fun. And then I get the day to basically relax, check everything that I brought with me to see, do I need to go and get any supplies? Did I leave any toiletries at home? Did I leave any, did I leave something at home that I need for the wedding, or am I good to go? So, or can I make do without it? So that'll be the first thing I do when I wake up in the morning. I probably will have to set an alarm because I don't want to miss breakfast. I didn't even bring my protein shakes with me. Usually I put some protein powder into a baggie and put that inside the shaker, but I didn't even do that this time. So I can't even have my protein shakes for breakfast. So I will go down and eat protein instead. Anyway, that's it from me. I'm out of here. I'm rambling because I am dog tired, as you can see by the big baggy suitcases under my eyes. Have a super fantastic sparkling evening. I will probably be broadcasting tomorrow night before I go to the wedding, or after the wedding. We have to vacate the wedding premises at like 10 o'clock. So I should be back in here in time. So yeah, I'll probably do it after the wedding. Then I can give you the breakdown of the wedding. You'll get to see me in my new really cool top that I've got. Looking forward to wearing it. Anyway, have a super fantastic sparkling evening, and we'll catch you guys tomorrow, probably around 10 p.m. Eastern, which is 7 p.m. Pacific. Actually, it'll be after that because I have to get from the venue back to here, and that's about 40 minutes, I think. I think it's like 40 minutes from here to the venue. So, yeah, sometime tomorrow evening. Hey, Conera.